Today I'm going to be showing you how to sew these foam bra cups. Hi there, my name is Carmen and I am basically just someone who loves to sew her own clothes and loves to show you how to do it too. So in today's video, we are going to be talking a little bit about bra making and specifically about sewing cut and sew foam bra cups. So last year I did a couple videos on my very first experience sewing a bra, and you guys seem to really love those two videos. So this year I plan to make a few more videos about bra making because I plan to continue to learn more methods and techniques and all that for sewing bras and trying to dive into maybe making some more complicated bras and things like that. So I have worked with cut and sew foam making bra cups quite a few times over the last year since making those first two videos, and I've worked out the method that seems to work best for me when sewing those bra cups. So that is what I'm going to be sharing with you today. Alright, so here's what you'll be needing. Your cut and sew bra foam. I like to use the 1/8 inch thick foam. Your favorite bra cup pattern. This is the pattern I made in that previous video, which I will link up above if you want to learn how to make your own bra pattern. You'll also need some regular polyester thread. Normally I would use thread that matches my foam, but so that you can see it better, I'm going to be using white thread today. Your sewing scissors or rotary cutter. You will be needing some stretch sewing machine needles. I like the 75/11 size, but the 90/14 also works well. And of course, you're going to need your sewing machine. So first you're going to need to cut out your pieces of your bra cup from the cut and sew foam. So I like to always cut it in a single layer, and I need to cut out 2 of each of my pieces. I also need to make sure when I cut these out that I'm gonna cut 1 for each side of the bra, so they need to be mirror images of each other, not identical. So for example, I wouldn't cut one piece this direction, then move it down and cut it again the same direction. Instead, what I'm going to do is cut the first one with the pattern facing up this direction, then I'm going to flip the pattern over the other direction and cut the second one. So I'm going to do that for both these pieces. Cutting the first with the writing on the top, the pattern facing up, then flipping them and cutting my second set of pieces with the pattern facing down towards the foam. And I just need to make sure that I keep those sets of pieces together. So the 2 that I cut with the bra pattern facing up, I need to make sure they stay together. And the 2 that I cut in the opposite direction with the pattern facing down, I need to keep those 2 together. Alright, so I've got the pieces for both my cups cut out. So this area on each of them is the outer side seam. So the outer side of the bra cup. This area is going to be at the center. So they basically are going to go like this once they're sewn together. So this is the left cup and this is the right cup. So I also want to mark to make sure I know which side of the cup is the top, because it can just confuse me. Even once they're sewn together, it can be confusing to figure out which is the bottom edge and which is the top edge. So I'm just going to put a pin along the top edge on the outer cup piece on both of these, just so that I remember until I get them sewn into my bra. This way I'll remember which side is the top and which side is the bottom. So next it's time to put these cups together. So I'm going to grab this first pair of cup pieces And we're going to take these to the machine and sew them with no pins. We are basically going to just butt the edges of the cups together like so. And then we're going to sew with a zigzag stitch right down this seam so that the raw edges are butted together and are in the center of the zigzag. So the zigzag is basically going to go over that seam and connect both of these pieces. And this is going to make sure that there's no bulky seam or overlapping edges at the center cup seam, because we just want to reduce bulk as much as possible at the center of the bra cups. Alright, so I'm here at my machine and I'm going to set this machine to a zigzag stitch. And I'm going to be using a zigzag with a length of 1.5 and a width of 4. I've also got my 7511 stretch needle in my machine currently. So I'm going to be lining up my pieces so that they match up along this bottom edge. And then I am just going to center it under the needle of my sewing machine. So that red line on my presser foot is lined up where those two pieces match up. And then I am just going to start sewing slowly. I'm not going to backstitch. I like to tie off my thread tails for this. So I'm going to start sewing slowly, and I'm just going to continue to bring the edges of these pieces together as I sew up that seam. And this is just going to allow the curve of the cup to form as you sew. So it's basically going to go through the machine and start curving up behind the presser foot as you sew the pieces together. So I'm going to pull this out and trim it with long enough thread tails that I'm able to tie them off. So here it is. It's basically like magic, I think. The two flat pattern pieces become this amazing curved cup as you sew them together. I just think it's so cool how that happens. So now I'm just going to tie off my thread tails on either side of the cup, and then I'm going to go ahead and finish the other cup. So here they are. It is really that easy. And some final tips for you when sewing cut and sew foam cups is, like I said, I like to use a stretch needle, and that is because I have had trouble with skipped stitches if I use a universal needle. So I recommend a stretch needle so that you don't get skipped stitches. And another reason I've found that I occasionally get skipped stitches is if my needle is not super sharp. So if you're getting skipped stitches and you are using a stretch needle, then I would recommend changing to a fresh needle, and that will most likely solve your problem. So I hope that this video helped you out. It was definitely some trial and error for me, figuring out the right needle and machine settings to sew these types of cups. So hopefully, because you watched this video, you can have more trial and less error in your bra making journey. So anyways, if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next week.